Hello everyone, and welcome to your live stream. Hi there. How you doing? Hi the Endless Scales. Hi. Hi the Stick Panzer. Hi. Hi and welcome everyone. And today we will be, well, doing the thing. We'll be doing the thing. Hi the Tefter as well. Hi and welcome. Today we will be, unfortunately, mainly working on videos because once again I don't have a working 3D printer. Still waiting for the cable and the new one to arrive. Did you see the ships I drew? I did. They look good. They do look good. Where did we finish off? Let me just pop like some kind of, some kind of render in the background as we're chatting, so that it's just gonna keep on rendering, keep on doing its thing, and we'll be able to chat. Is that an angle? Did I see that right? That's mildly upsetting. Oh yeah, that is going to upset me very much. I cannot let that slide. There. And render. Not f of x. Yes! Now the thing is, I also feel like I should work on the workshop a bit more, because I haven't worked on this video much, clearly, and since I cannot do anything fun at the moment, I'm just going to work on videos. So today is as good a day as any. On day one we did nothing. We did set up the text to speech, speech to text, but it was trivial. There was nothing like technically intricate about it. That was mostly just me copying code from Tefta. So I didn't do anything, personally. So then on day two, we did do a lot more, because, and my internet is not interneting right now. Don't worry, I'll keep the live stream as uninteresting as possible just for you. You're welcome to Zig Panzer. And hi the Weston, by the way. Day two. On day two, that was the back of the mask, wasn't it? Oh, I need to open up SolidWorks for this, but that was the back of the mask. That was when I had the straps. That's when not really when I had the straps idea, only when I modeled them and designed them. Oh, I'm sorry, my SolidWorks logged me out. I forgot that it works based on, of course. Nope. 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 There we go. I'm in. Yeah, it took me this many tries to get my password right. Which day is the girl's vacation? None. DTs don't rest. That's a common no. Oh, you sound like such a mortal right now, Olo. When the mortal says something so DT-phobic, you gotta hit them without gods. Alright, full mask, okay. So on day two, it took me a second to count up to it. On day two we got this, basically. This is what I made. The back part of the mask, and the idea for the straps being implemented, along with this connector right here. I know it may not seem like it, but that's actually an extra part. The reason why is because I'm making everything modular. It just makes it a tad easier to troubleshoot problems with the design. So, my problem, make its keyboard goes click, click, click. That's how I solve problems, indeed. I really like this because we can render stuff in the background as I'm working on the other video. This is great, splendid. We should do it more often. Visor, rather. Oh yeah, and that was also the day when I cut and made the visor. Visor, not visor, visor. Next is my head, the idea is what's on TPU. Which kind of preliminary, that's the last thing. The end problem being this is when Jesse choked on the TPU. I still miss him so much. Wasn't feeling so. Funny enough, I scripted that in before Jesse died. Like there were signs. I should have been paying attention. Okay, so day one, that was just planning. Let me make little notes for myself. What happened each day? Day two, that was mechanics. Day three was the RGB LED. That one's exciting. Day four. I think day four was yesterday, wasn't it? I don't know how you're supposed to live with the new cursed roll. It's too much. That's the point. That is in fact the point. I already forgot what my login was. There we go, that's what it was. The whole point of the cursor was to make it just survivable enough, like very on the edge, you know? It's a very thin line. People are just editing their messages. I can just fix that. PyCode trigger on message sent and message edit. I know how to do it for messages being sent. I know how to do it for messages being edited, but I'm looking for a clean way to do it for both. Because I don't understand how callbacks work in Python. I know how they work in C, that's simple. Yeah. How do you set up a callback for two things at the same time? Oh, that is not helpful. Who is banging on my pipes? I swear I'm gonna bang you back. Don't back talk to me! Is Texit... Shut up! I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear the pipes in the background, but... Is Texit open source? I don't know. Texit is in mind. Is it possible to use an array to run a program? Well, I mean... That can be interpreted in so many different ways, Artistic Panzer. In so many ways. Buns pairs that we can do one-word messages. Funny enough, in the scales, I accidentally did ban the usage of a spacebar yesterday. Whoops! Ah, whatever, I'm not being sidetracked yet. Day 4, that was the death of Jesse, wasn't it? Death of Jess. Poor Jess. And today's day 5, if I'm not mistaken. Is it? It feels like it's been a month at least since the video. Has it really only been 5 days? Oh my goodness, it really has been only 5 days. I am losing my mind. 2 months. It really does feel like it. Time flies by when you're having fun. Okay. The most exciting chapter for me will be the RGB LED, because I am fascinated with how it works. I know that it's really simple as a component, but I love it. I really do love it. And the fact that we did manage to turn it on without a library, I am really excited with that, because that was, like, obviously I'm not going to use it, but I feel like that's in my opinion, that is the coolest part of engineering. When you realize that you don't actually need when you're basically using a library, or you're using like a mainstream approach, not because you have to, only because you want to, because you could do it yourself. That's in my opinion the coolest part of engineering. And so in this case, the RGB LEDs are going to be fun. But first, mechanics. What else happened? I just back to the drawing boards. I did improve the design in a couple places, but it were all pretty minor. So I'll take this time something I haven't had the chance to yet, and that's how designing in CAD Solid works. There we go. Because that is genuinely a topic I wanted to explain for quite a while, but never got the chance to. Thanks, I'm gonna use it for my new project. Wait, we use what? Instructions in an array, then make it executable, then jump to it. Once again, your question is so open to interpretation, I do not know what it means. Because use an array to run a program. Well, the short answer would be no, because, well, to run a program, well, no, you can't really use an array to run a program. It doesn't really have a capability to run a program as an array. Array isn't really executable. Oh, and what's even more, in this case, you would not only need the array to be executable, you would need the array to execute, which is like an even more narrower subcategory. So basically, if you want an array to run a program, the array would need to iterate through itself, which it itself does not have the capability for. Usually you have something that iterates an array. DNA is an executable array. But DNA without proteins is useless, right? So you cannot use just the DNA to create a living being, because DNA without something to actually read it. So DNA is an executable array, but it isn't an executing array. So that's why you cannot really make a living thing out of DNA. You can. That pretty whole sets to use protein. That's actually a banger analogy. My goodness. My whole thing is analogies, but that is a great one. Yeah. So, using DNA as an analogy, you cannot build a living organism just with the DNA, because that's just the information. The same way, if you set up an array that's meant to run a program, that will be just the information required to run a program, but it will lack the capability to execute it. So, in a classical sense, no, you cannot use an array to run a program. However, as I mentioned, it's open to interpretation, because if you mean it as in, can I set up the rules for running a program in an array? Then yes, what's more, that's how programs work, all of them. So the answer is either no, or you can only use an array to run the program. Depends on how you interpret it. Two extremes. Let's say that we'd like to design a neat shape like this. Do it. Hi, Bav. Welcome back. This is going to be a neat segment because I've been having fun making things. I should make one thing. I've been such a lazy fuck. Pardon my rudeness, but I really hate it about myself how lazy I've been recently. I don't like it. I really need to get myself back out there to work. In this case, we're going to design a simple... There we go, this kind of shape. That's what I'm going to design as an example. Because I feel on the show this is really cool. I really like how things work in SolidWorks. Alright, that's the function. What's next in the script? If I can just easiest in this for purposes, described with graph. So basically imagine a number line. Heck, imagine two number lines. The nice thing about all of this is that if I do remember the way I've set it up is we'll be able to iterate through the color. Yeah, we will be able. That's good. The problem being that in this case we will need two ways to differentiate between... We'll need to do it with texture, won't we, if we're keeping the color. Right. 310. Okay, we want to offset it by one frame to keep the motion more rigid, and then like this. Like this. The question remains, do we want number lines? We can have the number line start at 0 in this case. I don't think there's going to be much of a problem there. Increase the function, move it right here, and then the focal point downwards. Funny enough, I think it was yesterday on stream. It was a slight topic. I think. Why are you like this, above? The sincerity. Weston, that is the... Yeah, I can relate. I can relate to that question, Weston. I find myself asking that people on the internet a lot. Hold on, before I get into too much of a tangent. Last stream, I do believe, or was it 2 streams ago, that I thought about getting myself a CNC machine. And I think I might genuinely do it, because they are way cheaper than I expected. Like the most recommended one, I did just the slightest bit of research into it, and apparently, the most often used CNC machine is like $250. I was expecting it to be 1,000, 2,000. So you can do both PCBs and multiple parts. Yeah, apparently CNC machines apparently are like one of the most useful things. Next to a 3D printer, it would be an amazing addition, and $250. You have to check which materials they can cut through. Apparently it was also for PCB manufacturers, so it's material that's costly usually. Well, not really, because I also looked into the like copper PCB plates, right? The most general one, the one that you know is like just conductive material, insulating material, conductive material. And they're not bad. They're not really cheap either, but in comparison to the like when it comes to prototyping, they are really cheap in comparison to all the other options. As I mentioned, the delivery itself on PCBWay is $20. Materials wise, it genuinely might be, well, maybe not really close, but it might be, I don't know, a difference of like $1 per PCB, maybe half a dollar, maybe 50 cents per PCB. If I have a difference of 50 cents per PCB, but then I don't need to pay the delivery, that might genuinely go in the positive for me. $20, that's a lot of these. DS, I imagine, yeah. Theo, I'm gonna go on a limb and guess that your message was a pun. My brain autocorrects your messages to be always puns. That's just a fair assumption. A lot of DS. Was I correct? Was I correct in assuming? That's a lot of DS. There we go, obviously. Yeah, I'm correct. Oh, hold on. Make it. Stop being lazy. I've been thinking, and okay, hear me out. It sounds bad on paper, right? It sounds bad on paper. Hear me out. Hear me out. I've been thinking about reducing my rainy day fund, okay, and instead using that money to buy a bunch of equipment. That's because I genuinely think that equipment might be a safer investment for me than just keeping a lot of money for a rainy day. At least that's my opinion. That's just a thought I've had. Because then I could buy like a CNC machine, I could buy the book of all the SMD components, I could buy, I have a whole like shopping cart on Amazon. I don't really use Amazon because once again, the delivery costs and like the fact that it goes from really far screws me up. That's why I like ordering them all in big packages. So I have them all already selected. I feel like it might be genuinely not that bad of an idea. I'll have a think about it. I'll have a think and then see where I end up. Okay, it's a bad idea. I'm not saying I'm gonna remove my emergency fund. I'm just gonna say I just wanna say I'm gonna reduce it. I almost bought a $300 microscope today. No, you could use a $300 microscope. Tefta, you are the only person I know who would genuinely be able to buy a $300 microscope, not as a bipolar manic purchase. You are the only person I know who can justify buying a $300 microscope. I know a lot of people who would want to buy a $300 microscope. You are the only person I know who would genuinely be able to use it on a daily basis. Actually, wait, did you not buy it? I don't mean to. I don't want to be the devil on your shoulder, but I genuinely think it would be really, because it would be like, I feel like it would be a really handy. I feel like it would be a really handy tool next to the oscilloscope. It's like next to the oscilloscope, that would be a very nice pair for debugging circuits. Oh yeah, absolutely. I was so correct. Oh, that is lovely. I mean, okay, this is upsetting me greatly. Alright, no, hold on. Oh, this is upsetting me greatly. I don't like it. I understand that this is just like a reference image. It's not really how it's meant to be and such, but like, this angle is bullshit, okay? I don't mean to be that guy, but could you please, if you're making a reference image, at least keep the... It would look so much better if you had SMD components over here. It would even look better. Not only would be more accurate, but it would also look better because people love circuit boards. Oh, this is upsetting me a lot more than it should, isn't it? Where, or am I an idiot? Because how are you doing it from the side? What? That's not how optics work. That's not how geometry works. Why are all of these from the side? Am I an idiot? Every single image has the thing from the side. But it very clearly isn't on the... My goodness, off. There we go. Are there any images that show it? There we go, this. Right, this makes sense. That really messed with my head for a second. I felt I didn't understand how a microscope worked. Oh, wow. Yeah, just Photoshop. I don't like the fact that this Photoshop, because it would look like this, for example. I'm focusing on the wrong thing, aren't I? It genuinely messed with my head, I don't like it. But I genuinely feel like that kind of microscope would be an amazing tool for you. Still, I don't want to be the devil on your shoulder. I am merely expressing my opinion with with the hope that you will not take it as face value, because I don't want to be responsible for other people. I'm a socially isolated hermit for a reason. I feel like a surgeon using an otoscope instrument with that one. I have to buy some new custom PCBs first. It'll cost the same amount. What if you make one by buying the lens piece and the rest you DIY? Whilst technically possible, funny enough, Abhishek, most of the equipment that like people who prototype for fun and design things, engineers use, most of the equipment they would be able to make themselves. However, the reason why they don't is because calibration is important. So basically, the main reason why you don't want to be making your own tools when it comes to precision is counterintuitively not because you can't, only it's because you need to be certain that your tools are precise and accurate. And that's something you get when you buy them from people who have a lot of experience in the field and people who have a reputation. Can't make my tools and my inventions. I feel like even with time-wise, you would be able to pull off both, but it's just that they... Like, if you think about it, making a simple CNC machine, for example, like that wouldn't be that incredibly time-consuming. But then making a very precise and accurate CNC machine, well, that would take years. And I think a prediction. Upgrade my boss to a new version. You're moving blazing quick. You're animating. My God, what am I doing with my life? I just keep looking at my mask and I'm moving so slowly in comparison to you. I need to get my act back together. The nice thing is that if you do have enough specialized tools, then you can make tools for yourselves as well. That's the really nice thing. For example, I know you can. And what I really like about it is that you can solve really trivial problems. No one training robots, virtual environments, open source libraries if they exist. Oh, I'm sorry, what? Have they not been training robots in virtual environments on open source libraries and there exists? Okay, I feel like I'm lacking a bit of context for that question. Who is they? What robots? What kinds of libraries? And why are we not certain if they exist? Make it for your next project. I think you should make a DIY fume hood. Now that is a tool I could make and wouldn't need to be precise. That is something I should. The nice thing about the new printer I got is that it does have a cover, a ventilated cover. That is great. That's amazing. Now I just need to make some for the rest of my stuff. DIY fume hood is actually a good idea. That might be one of the things I'll make down the line. Because it doesn't feel like it'll be that difficult to make. It just has to suck. Alright, bye Olo, bye. Windows the functions. You can thing. That's not a verb. The higher it goes on the first number line, the higher. Okay. So what we need right here is we need a number line. Oh yeah, and the number line was supposed to be going in as it's. Yeah, okay, right. Which means we set up a plane, ideally on the same width and height. There we go. And then typical number line shenanigans. Cylinder. I said cylinder. I said cylinder. Third time the charm. Transform. And then rotate. That is scale. I make it, drink another sip of coffee. Grab a cheapo bathroom air vent on the hardware store and construct a cuboid cubicle from acrylic glass. Bunch of ways to make airtight enough. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not difficult, right? I do have acrylic glass, enough of it even, because I bought backups. Air vents, I don't even think I'll need to buy. I know a guy who knows a guy who has like 2 or 3 different ventilators they don't need, and actually asked me if I want some. I should be disassembling more things, you know? Because there is a lot of electro trash people throw away that still has working components in it. And with a 3D printer, you can really easily repurpose those components. Like every single motor I find, do hardware hacking. You see, that is a problem. Because hardware hacking is really bloody difficult. I am unbelievably impressed. Like, I don't say it all that often, but I cannot express how impressed I am with all the hardware hacking you do. Because it is witchcraft to me. It's maddening. Like, don't get me wrong, I love collecting electro trash, and I would love to like disassemble it for parts even more, because whenever I see those circuit boards, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's all the goodies in there. But the only thing holding me back is my skills, which I lack. Dry tubing opening, danger air. Move away from the cubicle. I know. But Theo, here comes the pickle. I'm gonna be putting the danger away from the cubicle. Where am I gonna put it? I'm gonna need to put a hole in my wall to just pump it outside. That's gonna be environmentally friendly, isn't it? Right. You are just an oscilloscope away from being a hardware hacker. You see, that's what I'm saying. Hold on, I'm adding to the Tefta. What kind of oscilloscope do you have? See, that's what I'm saying. I need to just get more equipment. What's the name of your oscilloscope, if I to ask? Hendrik 250 megahertz. 65? The soldering iron's more expensive. Is this genuinely the one you use? Oh, that's 20. You're so right. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, I can't read. Dismiss. Piss off. I feel not good. What do you mean change? Oh, whatever. Oh, no, I do need to change my location to... Never mind. I need to change it to Poland because a lot of things are not available. 150... Yeah, 233, that's more like it. 150... Filtering... Sample rate. That is... Doesn't feel like the right unit, but... Nor can I select any of them. I'm so sorry, but there's a little bit of a delay on this stream, so I will not be able to figure out which. So this sort of thing. Alright, adding it to my list. 150 megahertz, that is enough. Hold on, 150 megahertz, what is like the typical... Nah, whatever, you said it's enough, so I'm gonna trust you. I've added it to my list. I don't know if I'm going through... I don't know what I'm going through. A manic breakdown, midlife crisis... Hope it's not midlife crisis. That shouldn't be right. A manic breakdown, that's the word. The wrong M word. I don't know what kind of manic breakdown I'm going through, but I'm gonna end up with a lot of equipment at the end of the week. I know a guy who knows a guy that has... It's a perfect example of the concept of 6 degrees of separation. Yeah, I always like to... It's great to say, I know a guy who knows 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 a guy. Because then you could be talking about anyone, right? That gives you a lot of freedom. You can measure the speed of light with 150 mm oscilloscope. Yeah, that sounds enough. Okay, yeah. As I mentioned, I trust you. In the meantime, I need to do this. Papa needs to end their paycheck to pay for it. I'm just kidding, as if I'm ever gonna end it on YouTube. Manic breakdown, but like the drum breakdown in India tonight. Okay, this will be the first cylinder. Have to bounce it off in the mirror and calculate, but you can measure the speed of light, which is crazy. That is maddening. That is in fact maddening. Which is weird, because 150 megahertz doesn't feel that crazy quick. But that's probably because the last time I was looking up anything with hertz, that was like clock speeds, right? That's probably why. When is the SA unit, actually? because the sampling rate 1 giga SA per second. What is I am with you on that. What's the SA unit? Giga samples per second. Oh, it's a sample, right? Okay, so a billion samples. That makes sense. Wait, so it has. Oh yeah, that makes sense. So it can do multiple samples per. Huh? I'll have fun. Equal. There we go. We do need to be the same, don't we? Colon. Yeah, and then what we'd like is a pattern. The sum of pulls. It's off. Unplug this, keep the brightness, and then what we would need is we would need some kind of. We can do waves. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, that would be a beautiful representation. Yes. Oh, I feel so clever and smart. We can do color 1. Wave A, and then what this will be is wave texture. Wave texture. I said wave texture. Oh yeah, I need to apply it, I'm an idiot. Color 1 wave A. No, buddy, you're going to get banned. It's really bold of you to spam messages on top of 2 moderators talking. Yup, there we go. Your last 2 videos were banger. Finally good to see you do practical stuff instead of theory again and again. Glad you are finally in position to do so without worrying about views or finances. Thank you. I'm glad you liked the videos because I also enjoyed them a lot. I also enjoyed those videos a lot. They are really fun to make. They are a lot of fun to make. And funny enough, I'm working on another one. And theory, but that's mainly because my 3D printer died. I think what could be a phenomenal way to represent is if we have the x-axis number line with the wave going sideways, the y-axis number line with it going vertically. And then if we distort it ever slightly more. Okay, that's not slight. Slightly. There. Color ramp, maybe make it a bit more. Yup, I think that's fair. X. Let's actually call it X. There we go, and then we'll have another one like this. Be right back. Okay. Do you watch anime / I don't know that other word is, know how to pronounce it? I think I've seen some animes. I've seen some of them. I don't really treat them all that differently from any other media, like series or anything. There we go, beautiful. Depth. Oh, if we make the depth lower, that decreases. Well, that's annoying. I should have seen that coming, actually. Let's move you a bit more to the right. There we go. This should be proper. Now the only thing we need is we need these to appear, which, well, what we can just do by increasing the depth from 0. Oh wait, no, because it's imagine number line, heck, imagine 2 number lines, right? So this has to be 0. Heck, imagine 2 number lines. I know, I am hilarious. Alright, back to the video making. Now, alright, enough of video making. Time to get back to the video making, you know? This is cat, and we ball in this motherfucker. It's so dumb. Okay. In this case, is we can just draw a very, very rough shape with just the right topology. I'm gonna call it topology in quotes because I'm pretty certain it's not really. I need to do it in quotes because if I don't do it in quotes, some kind of nerd in the description is gonna yell at me for. No, technically it's not topology. Technically it's whatever homotheopathy or something. I don't know. Nongqua is a Chinese anime, pronounced how it's written. There's a very popular Chinese novel that's currently being adapted in Nongqua, and it's stunning. You can see the trailer and see what I mean. It's called Lord of Mysteries. What is Lord of Mysteries about? These lines, all of these lines, selected in right, we want to be perfectly flat. We do it by selecting the option zombie. This means that from now on, no matter how we manipulate the model, keep these lines on. There we go. I won't spoil, since it's very frowned upon to spoil a novel. Just know that the title is true to its genre. Lord of Mysteries. Let me look it up, Lord of Mysteries. Okay, I'm not gonna read up on the plot then. If you say I shouldn't spoil it. It looks nice. For me personally, the best show I've ever seen was unfortunately not anime. It was Westworld, the first season. And ever since then, it was, my life has been bland. I do have to say that I've made the mistake. I've been learning PyTorch lately and looking for some interesting projects to build. Any ideas? Which one is PyTorch? I don't remember the Python libraries. I do have to say that when it comes to animes I have seen, one of them was Attack on Titan. I remember that one because I didn't know much about it when I seen it, and Man, the third season. I think it was the third season. That took me by surprise. What is PyTorch? Open source framework deep learning based on Torch library. Oh, it's the AI one. Right, that makes sense. Custom functions. I don't have any of these projects, unfortunately. These lines. Is another relation we can set. I don't know if there are relations constraints. I don't know. Is your 3D printer fixed? No, it is not. It's still dead. Oh, poor Jesse. Midpoint of these two same lines maybe and circle these two equal, and we end up with the aforementioned shape. Is that oh, nothing more fun than watching me script write a video live, isn't there? Oh, how thrilling it is! Trust me, I'm aware, but unfortunately work has to get done and I'm running out of daytime. How's the day going, man? Oh, thank you so much for asking, Rehan. The day just started for me. So far, pretty productive. Plus 48 minutes on stream, just been working on the video, working on 2 videos at the same time. So far it's going pretty well, it's pretty productive, I'd say. I give it a solid 5. I haven't watched it, but I do know it's very good though. Can't say much about it. I haven't watched it past the 2nd season, I think, and even that was a long time ago. Well, Endless Scales, I will tell you that season 3 escalates really a lot. It was really, I wasn't expecting it to be. I don't think I'm gonna spoil it much by saying that. No, I know, I'm just not gonna say it just was a lot. Background noises while I play Balatro. Ash, I'm glad to serve as a background noise for you. You're welcome. You know what? I'm not gonna complain. I get it. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend as if I'm doing something interesting that warrants full attention. I often myself am looking for a lot of background noises while I'm playing, Oxygen not included, and also Balatro in the past, so I get it. Okay, we're gonna leave the functions for now, back to the workshop. Once we define everything properly, we can change fit. Zero connector I made. Anyway, day 3, RGB LED, that's also going to be a fun one. Your keyboard is too quiet, can you put the mic closer to it? That's the only keyboard I got. When you don't have a shit ton of work, what do you like to do? Oh, that's existential for me. Rehan, the last time I didn't have a lot of work was 5 years ago. Maybe 6. I don't know. I genuinely don't know how I would react to not having a lot of work. I haven't been in that scenario. I am always behind stuff, or absolutely always. I I finished the video 4 days ago, and this is the day of the upload, and I've already been planning things. I don't know how I'd react to not having things to do. I always do things. That's how I live. I'm always behind on everything I do. I can't afford to not have work to do. Okay, we have this and that, then imagine 2 number lines. So right here we'll just have the second number line extend. That's simple. I really hope I didn't mess up any settings for rendering, because we are rendering a fair bit. So I'd rather have them be proper. Let's see, to an 8. There we go. Splendid, nice. Soon we're gonna run the script for the addition to bonds video. So we'll have to get on that as well. Assembling my ideas. Only to find out that. And Westworld first season was really fun. It was amazing as well. It was. I love that series so much. Later seasons were good as well. The only problem is that the first season was so perfect and incredible that just them being good didn't feel like enough. It was my favorite show of all time, so you adore it. Single, tiny LED, which I still have lying around somewhere in my office, so I'm gonna have to find it. This is the WS. Oh, what was the name of it? It was WS. I can just read up, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, I need to find the lamp. Where are you? Why are you always here except for when I need you? Give me a second, I need to find the lamp. Would you happen to be? Not right there, not right there. Not right there, not right there. That is fairly annoying. How do I have such a small apartment? And it's still... Oh, how do I have such a small apartment and still lose things this often? Found the lamp. Do you have a favorite director? I don't think I do, actually. I don't watch much. I don't watch many things. The last thing I've seen... What was the last new series I've seen? The last new series I've seen might have been... The Boys, maybe? No, it feels like there was something in between. I don't remember. I think it might have been The Boys. I don't watch many things. I can't find the name of the LED module, but I do remember that me looking up the letters on the lamp led me to it. So D47 5050 RGB. Oh, that's a different LED. Right, that is a different one. I got a different one. Oh, never mind then. I didn't even realize. Well, then I didn't find out about this. I genuinely thought it was the same LED. How did I get the other LED? You know what, whatever. And when I was disassembling my USB RGB lamp with a single tiny LED. just a bit muddy. Oh, segues. A lot happened on the third day. That's because on the third day it was from the time where I first got the idea for the LED to when I already had the LED. Yeah. Which means single tiny LED. Is the I don't have all that much space in my house. I might need to make some kind of more custom PCBs using the generalist ones for this, because I can't order the custom PCBs, the true custom ones, right? Because the delivery is too expensive. But what I can do is I can get the general. Oh, but they are like I can get the general PCB. What are they called? General PCBs. I think they're called general PCBs. I don't remember. Yeah, this. I can get these, and I can like fashion them with just 3 rows or even 2 rows. I imagine we could pull it off. No, 3 rows should be. I get you, man, but the Superman movie was awesome. It really made me happy. I might watch it then. Superman. Yeah. It seems very lighthearted, and I like it. The new DC movies seem a lot different from the old ones, and I personally really like the change. The realistic Batman movie, I enjoyed that a lot. That's wild. Have you tried using Notion for documenting and organizing everything you do? What is Notion? Place a point on these two number lines, and this. So what we want is we want the nice thing. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Oh my goodness, we didn't do the fudge sticks. No, it's salvageable. Hold on, it is. If we just do. Right, if we do -2, that is 636. There we go. Then if we go negative, oh wait, -3. Huh? Then we go to 0. No, this one we just have to leave, right. Okay. That's because we have icos here, like this, that we're gonna join in. Freely Walk is so awesome. Thank you. It's a database, not taking up calendar, to-do list, it's all things in one place. So like Obsidian? Because I have Obsidian. Just kind of like, you know, you can make notes like this, you can make normal notes, you can make daily notes like calendar stuff. You have note trees. Way better. Why is it better? Because I already have obsidian and I don't use it. Transform. Okay, we're going to move it -3 to the left, -2 to the y. That's where it's going to begin. This, then, and then, and then. For now, we can just have it up here. Means this. What's your opinion on WebAssembly/JavaScript instead of JavaScript? I have no clue what WebAssembly is. I'll be brutally honest with you. Like, I've seen it. I'm pretty certain I've encoded something in it. I just have no clue what it is. What was WebAssembly? Because, like, it's a low-level, high-level programming language. And what is that? Executable programs will also interface for communication with other programs on the host environment. Oh, hi there, Quasar. Quasar, what is WebAssembly? I don't understand it. I don't understand what it is at the core. Binary code format and the corresponding text format. Like, portable. First of all, you're starting with portable and assembly. You lose me. You lose me there. Well, what does that mean? Having a web app made in some other language. Nice ways to avoid JavaScript. I mean, hey, any way to avoid JavaScript I can get behind. I just don't understand what it is as a concept. I'm just an old man yelling at the cloud. I'm confused. Yeah, it should be fine. Rust users love it. Okay, now you lose me again. But it's one of those... It's not really adopted enough. JavaScript sucks, but no one can deny it's a lot easier to bootstrap with JavaScript. You can use other languages to make... Wait, what? You can use other languages to make WebAssembly apps? You lose me so much. I don't... I'm done. No. You know what? I'm just gonna trust that WebAssembly exists as a concept. I don't wanna more know what it is. Sorry about Jesse, by the way. Thank you, Italian Mappa. Thank you. The loss of Jesse hurts me still. I was finished another 4-hour drive. Where are you going? Or where were you going? Where have you come from? Near the Alps at the moment. Oh, Quaza, no. Are you already moving to the mountains? No, don't... No, like, you still have a lot of, like... Your computer science career is still going strong. Come on. Don't move to the mountains yet. It's a circle of life. Still a few more years before I become a farmer. Yeah, it's a circle of life. Eventually, every single computer scientist needs to move to the mountains. Something other languages can compile too. Oh, okay. So it's a wait. That's Wait, what? I don't... Oh, that loses me even more. From it, like, I understand the purpose, I don't understand what it is. Because, like, it's not binaries. It cannot be binaries. Is it binaries? Oh my, you're making me go into a rabbit hole. WebAssembly. Stack machine is only being encoded inside. Oh, so it's kind of like Java, right? Let me ship my app, non-linear JavaScript can be to a browser. Wait, so is it kind of like Java, but for browsers? Sounds like JavaScript. Or like Java except... No, this is just Java. Isn't that just like... as a language, showing is another way to deliver apps to the browser. Yeah, so it's kind of like Java, right? Like, you know, you can write in Java, you can write in Kotlin, you can write whatever you want. But in the end, it's just like pre-compiled binaries that run on a virtual machine. Pretty much. Okay. That makes sense. Now it does make a lot of sense. Kind of JavaScript, but good, like Java. I wouldn't describe JavaScript but good as Java. JavaScript but good is Python. What's the best language to make a space sim? Depends on what you mean by a space sim. If you mean like an in-depth physics simulator, C. If you mean like a simple calculation software, then Python. And if you mean something in between, then probably Kotlin. Just wait till you get into the hybrid WebAssembly. Yes, no. I'm not going into WebAssembly. I was just curious. I'm just browsing. I'm not gonna stick around there. No. Got myself some WS. Where's my phone? I can check just my past purchases. What's the name of the things? Oh, I got a. I got a phone call I didn't pick up. Oh no, that's an important one. We will resume the stream shortly. Day 5 resurrection. I will resume the stream shortly. I've got a bit of an important phone call. Be right back. What? Just. Okay. I'm back. I told you I'd be right back. Someone left already. Don't think I don't see the stats. I do see the stats. Don't think I don't see the stats. I do see the stats. Someone already left. You don't trust me, do you? There we go. It's for project for school. If it's for project for school, then I would recommend Python because you will not need speed. Actually, depends what do you want to do. Italian map, I'd say. As someone who done a fair bit of programming languages in both C and Python, if you want to actually put some work into it, some elbow grease, and if you actually want the project to be impressive, then I would recommend Python and C, depending on what you want to do. If you want something flashy, something like, I don't know, some kind of visual of the rocket flying and orbiting a planet or something flashy like that, bro, I got a nod. Okay, let me repeat myself then. C and Python. If you want to actually put some elbow grease into it, and if you want the project to be impressive, then in Python, if that's your pick, I would recommend doing all the calculations because they will be simple, and then you can make it flashy. So for example, have like a graphical visual of the planets going around. You can have like projections of the tracks and so on and so forth. All of these things it would be fairly easy to do in Python. It would take a little bit of work, but not too much because libraries are trivial to include. If you will pick C, then you won't be able to do anything flashy. However, you will be able to do things incredibly fast, which means what you could then is you could set up some kind of simulator where you add in the initial conditions, and it can really quickly, with really high precision, calculate where is the final properties of the system. So depending on which you go for, I think Python would be better on this project for school, to be completely honest. Time for a roll call, see who left. Exactly! What was it? So... Yep, that would be my recommendation at least. Okay, back right here. Imagine point placing is number lines, and this point, the further to the right it goes, the higher it goes on the first number line, which means what we want is we want to add to these alphas already included. That's convenient. We want value to string to curves, right? Then fill curves, then extrude mesh, and then that mesh we join in right here, and this I imagine we'd like as some kind of node. Right here we have a 0. Second my there we have it. 0, the possibly a bit higher up would be nice. Never mind the radius, that's good. Yeah, let's do left. Left would mean it's a bit easier to keep it in there, and then we can make it tiny bit small. Now we're going to make group of it with this and this as the input. Set material, and then the material is going to be, instead of white, it's going to be color 1 wave X. Oh, that is awkward looking, isn't it? Which means we probably like to add an attribute for scale. So frequency or French. There we go. And now we go back in, go on the attribute, and we're going to have frequency for both of them. What's this? There we have it. This is back. Now right here we're going to have the frequency be different because it clearly didn't work out too well. So the frequency is going to be 0.46 appears. It is a bit wonky. I will give you that. It's a bit wonky. However, alpha. and then 420. There we go. We can move it. Days 900 soon. Any plans what the event will be? Oh my goodness, yeah, I totally have a plan. You love using black as background for the animations, don't you? What do you mean? There's literally a whole ass plane right here as a background. What do you mean black? Does this look black to you? Build a Tesla coil for 900 Checkup. Could I actually do it? Hold on. I do have like a 500-meter long spool of copper wire, but it has jacket on. Know what I want to do. Oh yeah, right. We want to move this to the right. And then we want the number to appear as we're moving. It's going to be a bit wacky, that's why we probably should amend this to be, instead of multiply by this, oh actually right here, we should change the color from black ever so slightly brighter. This is a different one. There we go. It's still going to be a bit hard to read, but well, can't read much. I can't make it using 4 samples without Optic X. That's just for the preview, no one cares about that. Also, I am using it with Optic. Well, oh, you mean the noising? Oh yeah, I was checking the name of the LED. Hold on. Another one of my packages came, by the way. That's nice. I'll be able to pick it up. Oh, those are the capacitors! Oh, that's nice. Okay. Let me see. Past purchases. What GPU do you have again? I think RTX 5070, 5060? It might be 5060. I do not remember the numbers exactly. You need wires, magnet wire for secondary and thick wire for primary in a spark gap. I don't have a spark gap. Wait, do you mean spark gap as a component or do you mean it as an object? Because I've seen spark gap being used as a name of a component, and I've also seen it used as a as just a gap in which a spark is happening. Just like 2 screws. Okay, so you mean just like a gap where a spark is happening. I've seen spark gap being used as a component when I was looking into like setting things on fire with electricity. Because then you need apparently a very high temperature spark. Confirm you're a human? Yes, I am. Trust me, I would know. WS... oh, where is it? Oh, that's the oscilloscope I already saved. It is... I did remember the WS, but then 2812B. That is the name. And then what we want is we want an datasheet, don't we? this off. Right. WS3812B LEDs. Okay, so first of all, it has 4 pins. The data input, data output. You know what I just realized? In a pinch, you could use these LEDs as like for some basic signal processing, I imagine. I really like using things in unorthodox ways, so I'm trying to figure out if there would be a way to use the LEDs in some kind of very silly way. The sleep Thursday said to move into Europe and become a farmer. Data input, data output, voltage, and ground. Alright. Stretch, and now what? Voltage grounds are explanatory, but it is the... How did my mind go on that much of a tangent from absolutely no trigger? That's because one thing I realized is from the whole Jesse debacle. One thing I realized is that I can be using typical standards in my prototypes. What I mean by that is there is no shame in using a USB-C cable in there. It's a good standard. So when it comes to powering Raspberry Pi 5, for example, I shouldn't try powering it with pins because apparently it's really dangerous. And what I should do is I should just be powering it with USB-C. And I do have the modules for USBs. So when it comes to my power supply unit, I can just have, instead of dealing with the pins and dealing with everything specific like that, I can just set up a USB module in there. All hail the USB-C. I forgot industrial fans, it's not fun. It does get pretty spicy. I live in the northern side, wait, not the northern, but like central northern side of Europe. And it already gets pretty spicy. Down south, I don't know how people live. Survival is, I don't understand it. It's like what, it reaches up to 40 degrees Celsius, doesn't it? It's maddening for temperature. Do you have the Google One subscription for extra storage? I might have, I don't remember. I think I got it at one point because I had to send some files over to someone. It was just the easiest way to do it. this is going to be a very neat thing to explain because the comment I made, I'm really happy with that as well. I live in central Scotland, so not as bad as what it is in England. Oh yeah, that's quite north. Oh wait, you're British. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Oh, that sounds horrible. I hope you get better with time. You know what? I sometimes feel bad about what's happening in my life, but then I remember that there are people who unironically live in Britain, and yeah, that helps me. It always could be worse. Remember. I'm just kidding. Britain isn't real. Just 20 bits. But here's Trump's arrive. Do we know what's what's 0? Could be tempted to say that. But it's simple. For example, let's imagine that RMD left to up. Now we call it data. There we go. Alrighty, right. Oh, I need more coffee. I need more coffee to keep going. Hour and a half of solid work. That's, so far we're going pretty well. We really are going pretty well. We've done a lot. The only thing left is probability, and that's the end of the mathematics segment as well, so that's good. Let's say that we want to solve single 8 number, something like 1 1 0 1 0 0 1 1, like this, right? That seems fair. Yeah, of course. Of course, you all would like tea. Disgusting. I don't have any tea in my entire apartment. I really don't. I should get some. It seems like something that you can just have sitting in your apartment for just months without it spoiling. Because it's dried. Truly unfortunate. Yeah, I don't have any. I don't have any sugar either. I bought salt for the first time in years. This month. For years, my only salt I've had was just like copper sulfate or sodium nitrate or whatever. Those were my only salts. I didn't have any table salt. Wacky. With table salt and everything. I do have I do have soy sauce. I'm not an animal. More on the probability and statistical machine learning for a while. Do you plan to make a video on it, or any research you suggest? For learning probability, I don't think you need to. To be frankly honest with you, if you're approaching machine learning from a programming perspective, I don't know if you actually need to know probability and statistics. Like, it would be helpful, don't get me wrong, but I don't think if that's a necessity. Because libraries, the whole reason why libraries exist is because they take care of all the heavy lifting there. It's the same way as you don't need to, when you're making a graphical engine OpenGL, you don't need to know how memory is allocated in GPUs, right? That's the whole reason why you're using OpenGL. So if you're using PyTorch, I don't think you need to know. Yeah, there we go. Take it from Tefta. Tefta is a professional in this case. Fun fact, AI can be trained to figure out what you are typing from the sounds emitted by your mechanical keyboard. That's a bullshit fact. Oh, that's a terrible fact. I hate that kind of fact. Because it goes on such a technicality. Like, technically, AI can be learned. That's not bullshit. No. It is for a simple reason. That's because technically, as long as information isn't lost, then AI can be taught to extract it. That is true. Yeah. However, that is making an assumption there that the information isn't lost. Because Allo Infinite specifically said your mechanical keyboard. And that is a pretty bold assumption in this case. It is pretty bold of you to assume that in the setup I have, the information isn't lost. I do imagine that there could be some scenarios in which I could do it. Can you really do it? Can you really extract the... You want me to do it live? Can you really extract the keys I'm typing in? I have 95 confidence. The keys I'm typing in out of my mechanical keyboard. Because I am highly skeptical that this isn't losing any information. That's true, problem solved using machine learning. Go on, I am tempted. I imagine you need to, well, first I imagine we need to spend some time teaching it, wouldn't we? But because I am highly, highly skeptical. I refuse to believe that my setup transmits lossless information, or at least that enough information. I am really highly skeptical. Not perfectly accurate, also not expressive, to take everything with a grain of salt. I trust that it was done. I do believe that it has happened in the past, that AI researchers did it, but what I don't believe is that it could be done with my setup. The data is there. The sound the keyboard makes gives all the info needed. Does it really? I am willing to test it because, well, it's science. Of course I love science. But if I do this, that gives us all the information. They do sound different. I refuse to believe that in my setup it's possible. If you can take The sound, first of all, that's gonna be really fucking terrifying for me. But second of all, if you genuinely can take the sound I'm making right now and extract the keyboards, I will be... What's the link? See? Reason is microphones rise and services. State of the art, deep learning model, right? Yeah, no, as I said, I believe it has been done. I'm not disputing that. What I don't believe is that with my setup, it would be possible. I don't believe that from me just typing in, you get enough data to do it. I do believe it can be done. In fact, as there is a study on screen you've sent right now, I believe that it can be trained to listen to any mechanical keyboard. Well, I mean, as I mentioned, if there is information that can be extracted, AI can extract it. That's the whole point of machine learning. What I don't believe is that there is information in this case. That's why I call it the bullshit fact. The reason why I call it bullshit fact isn't because it's wrong as a concept. Only it's because, like, it goes on a technicality that can be assumed to everything. And so that's why I really don't like this sort of thing. I really don't like these sort of facts. I'm looking for an analogy to really stick the landing here. So, for example, there's no technicality because the sampling rate of audio and the bit depth of the info required to do machine learning has different distance from the keyboard, and the sound would be slightly different depending on which key is pressed. Well, I mean, yeah, each key has a different distance from the microphone. That is true. What are we doing? I am refusing to believe. That's what we're doing. I am refusing to believe that from the sound from the live stream, you could be able to figure out what keys I'm pressing. Having a screen could be used for your exact setup. Yeah, but I just don't believe the input is good enough. .5% accuracy. Can I has the paper, or is it one of those that you need to pay for? Okay, where's the attack design experiment and results? That's what we're looking for. W MacBook Pro interesting memory processor, which is popular laptop. iPhone 13 mini placed 17 centimeters away from the leftmost side of the laptop. Okay, 17. That is really, really close. Where is my measuring device? I put it away. 17. 17 is really, really close. How far is your microphone from your keyboard? 70, over half a meter. Over half a meter to a meter. Because it gives a woman place different distance from the keyboard. So 17 aspect left side folded. The pictures are close to remove some desk vibration in the recording. That's another thing. They're collecting attack data. The basically close to this vibration recording instead encouraging multi-line primarily from acoustics. Stereo of sample rates. Number of those. Well, yeah. What's my idea of will make it throughout the streams? I wonder how accurate the model trained on him would be. What do you mean model trained on me? What part of me are you training it on? This? The keystrokes? Pretty large keystroke for attention. Yeah, that is pretty solid. That is really, really solid. But once again, 17. 17 centimeters. That is really close. I wonder if YouTube is using your streams to train their video model. That feels like something that would be illegal, you know? It depends in if American or European laws apply. That's why both keyboards lay on the force because I want to code it to microphones. Tech companies don't care about legality when they're building the tech. That is a pretty big problem. I mean, in Europe, you do have a thing. You do have the thing in Europe where you can just ask a company to take down all of your data and they have to do it. A wild thing. Data brokers. I've learned about them not fairly recently, but I remember when I learned about them, that was wild to me. Because in Europe, there is a law that says that if you ask a company to take down all of your data, they are legally required to take it down. They can't just keep it. And just data brokers where they casually can sell data. That's dystopian. That is a dystopian nightmare. Simple typing style changes could be sufficient to avoid attack. When touch typing was used, reduced from 64 to 40%. I need to get a silent keyboard now. Add one more thing to Orwell would be proud. We're literally reading a paper about just guessing what people are typing based on sound. It feels like 97% of AI research is just dedicated to making Orwell say, "I told you so." Big Bunnet is watching. Bunnet's an algorithm. Don't worry. I think I'm gonna, like, Fixit will be an AI, but Bunnet, I'm gonna keep Bunnet as an algorithm. Ah, I've been having a really good day, you know? I've been having a really fine day. And then you all brought up the keys, and now I'm not having a fun day. I'm not having a good day anymore. On the type of data, the data broker is collecting. If the data can't be used to identify you specifically, then the companies can't exactly delete it. Can't be used to identify you specifically, and the companies can't exactly delete it. I mean, can't delete it. Like, legally aren't allowed to? Not legally. I'm getting wildly sidetracked, aren't I? Anonymized data can't be deleted if they don't know you are in the dataset aware. Oh, that's what you mean, right. Well, yeah, but I mean, that's kind of a given. It's anonymized. Where are we with this? Hi there, Yas! Hi! Oh, it has been such a long time. Who is Orwell? George Orwell. George Orwell, the one who wrote 1984. We have then the second one. This time we also need to bring it up a bit higher. And then see the future. That's the first thing. I mean, yeah, if you're the person who made 1984, you're certainly not filled with sunshine and rainbows, are you? Still, I don't know if 1984, because I know that you all always like to say, Tefta, all roads lead to 1984, but I genuinely believe that there is a counterforce that is just as strong, and that is the separation of intelligence systems. Because, like, if you think about it, then you don't ever have a single person. You don't ever have a single person or a single, not even person, single entity in power. It's always a group of entities that's in power. And that's the thing, like, cartels are a great example. You almost never see monopolies there anywhere. Monopolies are very, very rare. Cartels, however, are quite common. And the thing about cartels is that every member of the cartel is kind of in an adversary relationship with each other. AI can potentially collect all data and combine them. That is true. AI can kind of fuck us over on that, which is why AI safety is important. Bad things happen when good people refuse to act, so there's no automatic counterforce. No, there is an automatic counterforce, and that is the cartel effect. As I mentioned, it's very rare for a single entity to be in power, like extremely rare. And all of those people who are in power, for now I'm going to say people, why not? All of the entities that are in power, if they are there, that means they are power hungry, they are greedy. So they won't let others have all the power for themselves. If you have a cartel, then the cartel will act, every single member of it will act more in their own selfish interest than for the betterment of the cartel as a whole entity. And that's the kind of counterforce, that's the force that breaks it down. So, you know, if you do have 1984, then you can, unless there is a singular entity that is in power, undeniably, then you will have all the people, or all the entities, I keep saying both, whatever, you get what I mean, that would be all vying for the top spot. And they would all have significant power and resources to damage themselves. So, you know, so for example, in like kind of 1984 future, right? Even not assuming that people are good, just like purely evil, just sociopaths. You do have someone who wants to rise to power with the Ministry of Truth, but then you would have another person who also wants to rise to power, and maybe their best strategy would be exposing all the flaws of the Ministry of Truth. That would also be a viable strategy to gain a lot of traction. And then you'd have a third person who's trying to remove both of them and delegitimize both of them, and so on and so forth. Entropy is powerful in this case. Because our future is going to be dramatically different from past. Can't have hope without actions. I do agree with that. Do you stream every day? Almost. I used to stream every day for 2 years, over 2 years. But then I stopped. Now I just stream wherever I feel like it, which is almost every day. I'm buying this replacement. In case printers are better, you don't have to worry about that. Although I already bought a printer. Like yesterday. Maintain my hygiene, very stream background, so it would be the I'm always watching. Like the data broker. Alright, Alu. Alright, bye. See you. Have a good one. Okay, and up and away we go. Right. LED. Let me learn these half fast as the map control. Just the ratio between expected input and provided output is a tedious process. So instead, in most cases, get this two lines. One line being the data line and the other being the clock. Hi Mahmoud, hi, welcome. Audio recording for Make It model. That's upsetting. Synchronize system. However, in this case, we don't clock them. Instead, we have a single data point. So how do they remain synchronized? Remember to download the stream so you have what he typed. You can just send the text over. But at the same time, we need the timings of when the text happen, I imagine. Or maybe you don't. I don't actually know how it is. How they remain synchronized. They have a single data point, so how they remain synchronized. Where they remain synchronized. Here's where the secretly and surprise him during a stream. That's gonna be a fucking terrifying surprise. Life to live, so this is the point where I get off. Goodbye. Alright, homogeneous country, bye, have a good one, good day, and such. Have a good one. Defines bit 1 as this, and bit 0 as this. That's the order set 0. We don't just set our output. No, and we set You must make it by a custom trained visual model. But that is actually a genuine. Now, on a bit of a tangent, I am kind of worried about people, like people misunderstanding the capabilities of AI. Because, like as I mentioned, it is really difficult because it's not a simple case of AI isn't as powerful or AI is even more powerful. Only AI, as I mentioned, theoretically can extract any data as long as it's there. But what I've seen repeated over and over again is people wanting to implement AIs in places where the data just isn't there, where there is no data to be extracted. Or at the very least, places with a lot of noise. And I am genuinely worried about that. The whole debacle that happened in Europe with like AIs trained to figure out if someone is a terrorist or not based on their face. Like, that's fucking horrifying. Because the amount of noise in relation to the amount of data for a decision that's this important, it's ridiculous to even propose it as an idea. But it was seriously considered. So that's why it genuinely upsets me, it genuinely worries me when people make these sort of claims. Hi Ninja, hi. Not much, just working on videos. This means that in order to send number, we need to do this. What was our number? Our number. Okay. And then what we need is we need the data sheet. There's the data sheet. T1H. Okay, there we have it. Something is create to make this additional create chronicles the adventure. Flip a coin. Always best way to make decisions. I found at least. 0.8. In order to send, and let's just make sure that a number like 101, we need to high for 0.8 microseconds, low for 0.45, then high for 0.85. No wait, that's low, I'm an idiot. 45. Wait no, that's, oh my goodness. High for 0.8, 0.45. Yes, and then 85, yeah. And high for 0.4 and low for 0.85. And finally, high for 0.8 and low for 0.8. There we go. That sends one for one. Yes, and then from here we need to go to the, before we get to the them being wired together, because I also think that's a phenomenal, I just find it beautiful. We need to first, someone's banging on my pipes again. We need to first explain the code implementation, I think, because I feel like it's very illustrative and it like shows the engineering process really nicely. I also need to just do something for the mask today. It just hit me. Just working on the video won't be enough, because then the day 5 would be empty, and I don't want it to be empty. I want something to happen. Can you flip it for me? I guess heads for mechanism edition. Okay, hold on, I need to find something that I can... Yeah, this will work. So, heads for mechanism edition. Alright. It was tails. So that's Chronicles the Adventure. You're welcome. Always have to help. Weird question, but who is your favorite Pokemon if you have one? I actually don't. Arceus, or whatever their name was. That one. Call me a basic bitch if you want. Sorry. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, we're back. Implement it. I can just check code I've made, can't I? Because I don't want to get the... Or we can do it as a hypothetical. Yeah, just we can start by creating a function called send. this function will send just execute send byte 2 times, each time with the quantity number, the red number, the green number, and the blue number inside our send byte function. Yeah, it's gonna be a long day, to be fair. Way longer than I expected. But to be fair, I'm gonna explain the LEDs on a single go. That's gonna be neat. Loop just goes over every single digit of number and sends it using the send bit function. Then inside the send bit function, I just send the high and the low with the appropriate numbers, each time waiting for 0.8, 0.85, 0.45 or 0.4 microseconds. Simple as it could be. Just now. And whoop. When was the last time you did jumping jacks? I don't know. A really long time ago. Measured in years, possibly decades. I don't remember when was the last time I did jumping jacks. And it's gonna be the fun bit, because that's when I realized that you cannot actually put fractional numbers inside of sleep microseconds. Oh, how festive. Anyway. I think that'll be it for now, actually. For the stream. I'm getting a bit peckish again. I'm gonna go and eat something. And I suppose I might see you later on today. We'll see. Depending on how much work I do for the video. Or maybe tomorrow. We shall see. And for now, that'll be it. Thank you everyone so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.